Today's messing around is assisted by Giver, a friggin' crisp, easy drinking beer from Devil May Care Brewing in Winnipeg. They call it the kind of beer that you can bring down to the rink and split with Gordo and the guys. Well, this is very much leaning into all the Canadian stereotypes, which are only really stereotypes because they're kind of true. Yeah, that's definitely a beer that you'd drink after the game or on a hot summer day or something like that. And their head game is right on point too. Anyway, this is what we're here to take a look at today. It's a Micronta, aka Radio Shack, latching continuity tester. I picked this up at a yard sale for $3 whole, which is pretty impressive, and it's something that I have never seen before. It is designed for looking for intermittent open circuits or short circuits because it latches the tone or the signal. They suggest that it's well suited for troubleshooting automotive wiring and security system loop circuits. As much time as I spent in Radio Shack, and that was a significant amount of time, I never saw this unit. So I'm not quite sure when it's from, but the only way we're going to find anything about it is to play with it and take it apart, probably. Definitely. So here's what's on the front of it. We have a power switch, an LED there. We have a normally open or normally closed, so you can test either, and it can either do a momentary continuity beep or latch. And if it's latching, then you can reset that. Pop open the battery cover. It runs on a 9-volt battery, which I'm going to guess is probably dead, because why wouldn't it be? 0 volts. Okay, that's done for. Let's see what I got in the pile off to the side here. 7.9 volts. That'll probably work. Battery terminals aren't visibly corroded. That's kind of cool. I bent that getting the old battery off. Hang on here for just a sec. There we go. So now then, if we turn it on, it's in normally closed mode. We'll go normally open, and then put it in latch mode. And if we, okay, that was pretty quick. And reset the latch. Let's reset it, normally closed mode. Yeah, that's pretty slick. So if you've got a circuit or a cable or something or a switch that's giving you just momentary breaks in continuity, that would probably do the job pretty well. Actually, let's put it into momentary mode and just see how quickly this goes. I think you can kind of see the LED. Yeah, that takes no time at all. As opposed to many of the modern multimeters, which have digital processing and whatnot that happens before it actually registers. So this, I'm guessing, is probably all analog circuitry inside. Let's find out. There we go. That was easy. Let's see if that circuit board wants to lift out. Oh yeah, that's cool. Okay. And the battery wires are just kind of caught in that little slot there. Excellent. Well, there's what's on our board. Not the most complex thing in the world, but still there's a fair bit going on here. We've got a couple of transistors there, 8-pin chip there, and a, 14 or 16-pin chip there, and the rest of it is all resistors and a couple of capacitors, and of course the switches and things. Little piezo buzzer there, and the LED up there. Good old school chips too. This is an LM393, which is a dual comparator. And the other chip on here is an MC14093B, which is from a family of standard CMOS logic chips. Specifically, it is a quad 2 input NAND gate with Schmidt trigger. And then just for completeness, both transistors are an LC945P, which based on a guess of the vintage of this thing, I'm going to assume that those are both some kind of a NPN or PNP, a BJT transistor. Let's go and find out if that's true. Yes, indeed, they're both NPN transistors, standard bipolar transistors. Okay. So with the major components identified, I guess I probably should try and come up with a schematic. It's going to take a bit of effort, I think. Originally, most of this Radio Shack stuff from this era came with a manual that had a schematic in the back of it, which is really handy for hobbyists back then. You could actually fix things and figure stuff out. But since I don't have the manual with this one, I'm going to have to do it the hard way. I'm hoping it's not too hard, but I guess we'll see. Drink 'em if you got 'em. Well, that took far longer than I expected it to. I guess it's a combination of my eyes getting old and these traces going every which way, not very organized and stuff. Kind of like stuff did back in the 80s. There are a few traces like this little one, which one goes from there, through to there, that was really hard to see because it was covered in flux, so I didn't know it existed, and it threw me off for a while. But I did manage to get a schematic out of it, and I'm about 85 to 90% confident that it's actually fairly close to what's reality here. Well, let's take a look. Here is the schematic, the best of my ability. As I said, this is not 100% confidence. I've had to redraw this multiple times, and I'm still learning KiCad. But as I understand it, here are the two test probes down here. One of them's grounded, and the other one goes through the normally open, normally closed switch. If we're in normally open position, it goes up and through this comparator. If it's in the normally closed position, it goes through this comparator. Whichever one of those is in charge, it passes the either high or low through the diode into the NAND gates. This section over here deals with the latching. If it's in momentary mode, the switch is up like that. If it is in latching mode, the switch goes down, and you've got the reset to go through to this NAND gate. And then these two NAND gates down here are buffering the outputs. This one over here is buffering the output to the LED, no biggie there. This one is buffering the output to the buzzer, but with this resistor in the feedback side and this capacitor, it is creating basically a square wave oscillator that I measured at 1.35 kilohertz, and that is just driving that little piezo buzzer. Interesting little circuit. If you wanted to, you could go through and logic analyzer the whole thing. I am not interested in doing that. This schematic took me far longer than I expected it to, and quite honestly, I'm almost over it. I know the thing works. It does what it says it does. I'm going to put it back together, and I will probably use it in the future. And putting it back together should be no difficulty, a lot easier than figuring out what that schematic was anyway. These little dust cover kind of pieces on, those are just a nicety to have. It keeps dust from falling down into the body of the switch from the outside world, and also keeps the shiny bits of the switch from showing through the top there. Reassembly is basically just the reverse of disassembly. That guy drops into there, and the little notches provided. There's the screw hole there. That strain relief goes there. And then the cover goes on. Okay, the hardest part is just getting all the little things aligned back to the slots they go in. There we go. And where did that one screw go? There it is. That's not the right screw. Somewhere here. There it is. That looks right. Let us see if it still works. All right, so power on. It's in latch and normally open mode, so that should latch on. I think you can hear the beeper and see the LED. Reset works. Cool. Go to momentary. Yeah, that works. And we'll go to normally closed. Yep, that works. That combination's not working. That works. Oh, okay, I see. Of course, I forgot. So, normally closed. It's in latch mode. If I open it, there we go, and it doesn't reset until you reset it. Right, working exactly like it's supposed to. Nice. I kind of wish this had come with the manual so that A, I could show it to you, but B, I wouldn't have to go through the effort of writing that schematic. But it's good practice. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Any of you old timers from back in the 80s, do you remember this thing at Radio Shack? I do not, which is odd because I spent an awful lot of time and money there over the years. But if you do remember it, let me know down in the comments. Well, as I said, thanks for watching. I will talk to you later.